You guys, today we're going to talk about instant family. Instant family. My experience with this movie was actually probably a little different than I was expecting. I didn't get as emotional with it that I was told I would. I actually thought it was hilarious, mostly. There were obviously heartfelt moments and whatever that I thought were beautifully done, but I wasn't as emotionally moved by this movie as some people I knew were when they watched the movie. One thing that I thought was actually really interesting about this movie was Mark Wahlberg was a really strong masculine presence in the film. You don't have a ton of loud male characters in this story. Mostly all of the loud characters are all women, except for him. And after the movie, probably 3 or 4 days after, I was still kind of walking away feeling, this is a weird thing to say, but ministered to by Mark Wahlberg. There was something pure and right about his masculine strength in this story that was good and beautiful and displayed in a way that was life-giving and supportive and strong, and which I really appreciated. And it just was it was offering something to me as a man that I actually really appreciated. It was fatherly, it was covering, it was protective, it was present and firm, which I thought was awesome and beautiful, especially in the spirit of this film. Basically, you've got this married couple that's having their best life ever, and then they decide to adopt, right? But they don't just get one kid, they get 3 because they come together. They didn't want to separate them. The spirit of adoption is a thing. It's such a big deal. I mean, if you understand scripture, right, we all started off as orphans, outside of the family of God. And then through Jesus, we were grafted in and became adopted. We were given the spirit of adoption with which we cried, "Daddy," to God. Yeah, and so in this movie, obviously you watch these 3 orphans who are in the foster care system navigate what is it like to be in a new world, in a new area with these new people with authority over us. What does love look like? What's secure? What do I get to latch onto and attach to and rest in, and all that? You're watching these characters navigate these dynamics throughout the whole movie. And I think the movie did a really good job portraying some of the painful, kind of rough parts of bringing someone into your family and them resisting, or when love shows up, how things get kind of uncomfortable and there's these really rough edges to have to navigate and pursue. And I thought the actors actually all did a great job. The oldest daughter in the family, I thought she was such a strong character in displaying what an attitude and a posture would be from someone angsty and kind of jaded from that system. Growing up, my family brought some foster kids over to my house a few times. We got to be friends with them, and I remember they didn't have a lot of toys at home, and they wanted to take toys. My mom told them they could take some of my toys. I remember being really upset. I'm like, they can't take my toys, these are my toys. And I was really shocked and sad. My mom pulled me aside and she was like, Mike, they don't have any toys. Where they live and what they're going through, they don't have these things. And she's like, could you give them some of yours? And maybe we can get some things for you later, but would you be willing to give them from all these different toys that you have? And I was like, okay. And my mom taught me in that moment how to partner with compassion and to recognize and identify with the plight of someone else, even if it's going to cost you. And I mean, at such a young age, I still have vivid memories of these boys my age, just not in a great place, and realizing that I actually had something that I could contribute and I wanted to give to them. It still sucked to lose a couple of toys that I really cared about and I was attached to, but I was actually able to count the cost and be like, I want them to be able to have this. And the sacrifice felt beautiful and rewarding. And so I was able to say yes to that. But I have this funny, tender place in my heart for kids in that place where they don't have parents and they're kind of tossed around and things aren't secure or stable. And they're having to navigate all these transitional, important elements of their well-being and not knowing what tomorrow's going to look like or 5 years from now or whatever, right? What a painful, vulnerable place to be in. And God has such a unique, special place in his heart for orphans. This movie portrays that journey, and it's not all just Hallmark and honky-tonk, hunky-dory, fun all the time. There's some rough moments here where family members are having these intense conversations. They're having to work out these justice systems, these values, these contrasts of beliefs and priorities and internal struggles. And there's this moment where the married couple are sitting in bed at night after they've had the kids for a few days or maybe a couple weeks or something, and they're like, this is exhausting. This is horrible. Our lives were so much better before this. Why did we do this? Why did we say yes to bringing these kids into our lives? How did we get here? I just want to get rid of them. I just want to put them out and maybe just think that we could say that they got lost or things, I don't know, they come up with lies, right? Basically to get them out of our lives and just return them back to the foster care system. Yeah, life would be so much better. We can go back to the way things were and we can do this, we can go on this vacation, we can have this house again and whatever. And then they settle, cool, we're gonna do that. And they get back in their bed and she's like, except for we're never gonna do that. He's like, yeah, of course not. And they know they wouldn't do that. But I love how they've displayed like the tough, like gritty part of what it looks like to actually choose somebody and to lay your life down for them. That your love that you possess for them actually comes at this more profound, abundant place of giving than you've maybe ever experienced before, but that the sacrifice that's engaged is actually worth it to you because love is more rewarding than whatever benefits or resources you lose along the way. Like, love is the reward. It's not like them having a feeling or you getting an experience. It's you letting love flow through you that is the chief of all things in everything, ever, everywhere, always. Letting love come through us is our reward. That's why it's more blessed to give than to receive, because giving from a place of love allows for the nature of love to flow through our being. We experience the benefit of that transaction and we come alive, and it's beautiful. Yes, it hurts. Yes, there's this practical, natural place where it's like painful and inconvenient and kind of sucky. But in the spirit, my gosh, when you're generously giving from a place of love because of your submission to the spirit of love, you've touched the source of where you come from and why you exist. And it's beautiful. And you actually can't put a price on that. You can't buy that. You can't gain that. You can't accomplish that. It's a gift that comes from right submission to the nature of God. And this story has such a beautiful display of unconditional acceptance and pursuit and love of people in their mess, no matter what they choose. It's a beautiful film, fun for the whole family, and a lot funnier than I made it sound. This is a hilarious comedic film with beautiful, heartfelt drama. Worth seeing for sure. And remember, guys, when you're watching a movie, you're never alone. Like, comment, subscribe. If you want to subscribe to this channel, you can click on this here. If you want to see more videos of Spirits in the Theater that we've done, you can click on this here. And also remember to click that bell button so you can get notifications of our other videos that come out in the future.